August 11, 1998, St. Louis, Missouri, a humid summer day. Felicia Gayle, a young mother, is getting ready for work. She kisses her children goodbye. She never knows this is her last morning. Later that day, police find her. She is dead in her home, brutally stabbed. Fear grips the community. Who could do this? The investigation begins. Detectives work tirelessly, following leads. They find a murder weapon, a knife, they find fingerprints. They need a break in the case. The pressure mounts. The community wants answers. Marcellus Williams becomes a suspect. His life takes a dramatic turn as he finds himself in the crosshairs of a murder investigation. He had been in a relationship with Felicia Gayle, a relationship that was far from perfect. They had a tumultuous past, filled with arguments and misunderstandings that often escalated. Police bring him in for questioning. He maintains his innocence, insisting that he had nothing to do with Felicia's death. He says he was not at the scene. He has no alibi, which makes his situation even more precarious. The evidence seems stacked against him. Investigators find several pieces that point in his direction. Fingerprints are found at the scene, adding to the mounting evidence against him. He is charged with her murder. The trial begins and the courtroom becomes a battleground. The prosecution presents its case with confidence, laying out a narrative that paints Williams in a negative light. They paint Williams as a violent man, someone capable of committing such a heinous act. They say he killed Felicia in a fit of rage, driven by uncontrollable anger. The defense argues there is reasonable doubt. They highlight inconsistencies in the prosecution's case. They say the evidence is circumstantial. The jury deliberates. The tension is palpable as everyone awaits their decision. They reach a verdict, guilty. The weight of the decision hangs heavy in the air. Marcellus Williams is sentenced to death. His fate is sealed, and the courtroom falls silent as he is led away in handcuffs. Years pass. The days blend into each other, marked only by the slow, relentless ticking of the prison clock and the flipping of calendar pages. Time seems to stand still, yet it moves forward, indifferent to the plight of those within the prison walls. Williams sits on death row. He maintains his innocence. He appeals his case tirelessly, writing letter after letter, hoping someone will listen. His determination never wavers. Even as the years drag on, he exhausts all his options. Hope seems lost. The cell door closes with a finality that echoes his despair. Each rejection feels like another nail in the coffin of his hope. Then, in 2015, there is a breakthrough. New DNA technology emerges, offering a glimmer of hope. This technology is more advanced, more precise, and it could be the key to proving his innocence. Williams's lawyers request testing on the murder weapon. They believe this new technology can reveal the truth that has been hidden for so long. The results are shocking. The DNA does not match Williams. This revelation sends shockwaves through the legal team. It is the breakthrough they have been waiting for. Could this be the evidence that sets him free? His lawyers are elated. They celebrate this monumental step forward, hugging in relief and renewed hope. They file a motion for a new trial. This time, they have concrete evidence that could overturn the conviction. They argue that the DNA evidence proves his innocence. The courtroom is tense as they present their case, every word carrying the weight of Williams's future. They say he is a victim of a wrongful conviction. Activists rally for justice, holding signs and chanting for his release. The public begins to take notice. The case gains national attention. News anchors report the breaking news, and headlines scream about the potential miscarriage of justice. People start to question if he didn't do it. Who did? Conversations buzz in coffee shops and living rooms across the country. The case becomes a topic of heated debate as the nation grapples with the implications of this new evidence. The state of Missouri opposes a new trial. They stand firm in their belief that the original verdict was just and fair. They argue the DNA evidence is not enough to overturn the conviction. Despite advancements in forensic science, they claim the new findings are inconclusive. They say other evidence still points to Williams. The prosecution highlights the testimonies and physical evidence that were presented during the original trial. The case goes before the parole board. This board holds the power to change the course of Williams's fate. They must decide whether to grant clemency. The weight of this decision is immense, as it could mean life or death for Williams. The hearing is emotionally charged. Felicia Gayle's family testifies, recounting their loss and the impact it has had on their lives. They believe Williams is guilty. Their conviction is unwavering, fueled by years of grief and a desire for closure. They want justice for their loved one. Williams's family also testifies, presenting a stark contrast in their narrative. They plead for his life, sharing stories of his character and the man they know him to be. They say he is innocent. They argue that the evidence against him is flawed and that he deserves a fair chance to prove his innocence. They say he deserves another chance. The parole board deliberates, weighing the emotional testimonies and the evidence presented. The world watches and waits. The case has garnered national attention, with people from all walks of life tuning in to see the outcome. With hours to spare before his scheduled execution, the governor steps in. The tension is palpable as the clock ticks down. He grants a stay of execution. This decision brings a temporary relief to Williams' family and supporters. He appoints a new board to review the case. This new development offers a glimmer of hope for a thorough re-examination of the evidence. The fight for justice is not over. Both sides remain steadfast in their pursuit of what they believe is right as the legal battle continues. The new board reviews the case. They examine the evidence. They hear from experts. The DNA evidence is, well, a major factor, but there are other issues. The original trial had problems. There were questions about the investigation. There were concerns about witness testimony. The board must weigh all of this. The board issues its findings. They acknowledge the DNA evidence, but they also say there is other evidence against Williams. They are divided. They cannot reach a unanimous decision. The case is thrown into limbo. Williams' fate hangs in the balance. The mystery deepens. The case of Marcellus Williams becomes a flashpoint. It sparks a national conversation about the death penalty. It raises questions about wrongful convictions. It highlights the flaws in the criminal justice system. People are divided. Some believe Williams is innocent. They say the DNA evidence is clear. They call for his release. Others believe he is guilty. They say the other evidence is too strong. They want him to face justice. The case becomes a symbol. It represents the complexities of truth and justice. It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. The case of Marcellus Williams remains unresolved. He is still in prison. He is still fighting for his freedom. The DNA evidence casts doubt on his guilt, but it doesn't provide all the answers. Many questions remain. Who else was at the crime scene? Why was Williams' fingerprint there? What really happened to Felicia Gayle? These questions haunt the case. They demand answers. They fuel the search for truth. The mystery endures. Marcellus Williams' life hangs in the balance. He has spent decades on death row. He has missed out on precious moments. He has aged behind bars. He has witnessed the world change from a distance. He clings to hope. He dreams of freedom. He yearns for a chance to prove his innocence. He waits for the day when justice will prevail. The story of Marcellus Williams is a tragedy. It is a story of a life shattered. It is a story of a system that sometimes fails. It is a story that forces us to confront difficult questions. What is justice? What is truth? How do we reconcile doubt with certainty? The case remains a mystery. It is a reminder that the pursuit of justice is never easy. It is a call to action. We must strive for a system that is fair and just for all. We must demand accountability. We must never stop seeking the truth.